endure this harsh treatment? You've got speeds that rival Sonic the Hedgehog.
I hate NES games. I hate them so much. Welcome to WedNESday. Okay, well, maybe not all NES games are terrible, but honestly, some of them should have stayed back in 1784 with Eli Whitney and his cotton gin. Ninja Gaiden is definitely one of those.
So, this game has a story, and considering the limitations of the NES, these cutscenes are amazing! Well, except this cutscene. You see, they wanted to have some shading, but they'd already used all 13 of the colors on screen, so a shade of green on this woman's face it is! So I'll summarize the story. It starts with Ryu's father fighting and losing a duel. Ryu finds a letter from his dad that says, "Dear Ryu, I've gone to a life or death duel, and I may not return. If I don't, you're the new head of the Hayabusa clan. Love, Daddy." Since he didn't return, Ryu takes the dragon sword and swears revenge.
Okay, but is that really fair? I mean, Ken knew what he was going into. It was a fair duel through and through, and he didn't tell Ryu to avenge him if he lost. Honestly, I don't think Ryu can claim revenge. I think this is just a misguided, spiteful vendetta.
Anyway, the first level of this game is amazing. You feel like an awesome ninja just running through the streets and slashing anyone who isn't Asian. Black guys lacerated. White boys eviscerated. Dogs dissected. Look at these fun wall jumps and ninja slashes. Honestly, I'd put this game next to Sonic Adventure 2 for best opening stages in the game. And it all ends with a boss fight. And it's a little tough. This guy walks back and forth swinging his machete. His pattern is easy enough to read, so you get in there, land a slash or two, but honestly, I prefer to kill him in just one hit. After the boss fight, there's a cutscene with that babe who had the green skin. She shows up, and before even greeting me, she just shoots me. I wake up in some prison, and the woman gives me a statue and tells me to skedaddle.
You know what? I just realized, even though I gave you the Cliff Notes, the reason I'm doing this makes no sense!
Level 2, nothing to point out here, just another fun level. I'm in some sort of a facility, making fun jumps and fighting dudes. You know, truth be told, I've never heard about this game or its difficulty. I remember X-Play saying the one on the Xbox was like the hardest game they've ever played, but maybe this game isn't so bad. Oh, hey there, Level 3! Level 3 is where we separate the wheat from the chaff. This game gets hard, and by hard, I mean cheap. Look, to this game's credit, they give Ryu a lot of health, but almost every death in this game is going to come from the bottom of the screen. You don't really get projectiles in this game, but they expect you to make this jump where this dude is standing just far enough away that you can't really slash at him before he fires his gun. Screw that! There's only one way that they kill you in this game, and that's by knocking you off cliffs. Which really is just cheap game design. And one thing that really just bungles my jungle is this area. To get to the next screen, you need to climb down the ladder. But if you jump or fall, you die. Is that because this fall is just a little bit too much for Ryu? What about whenever he starts a stage? So, after about 4 times as long as I spent on the first level, I got to this boss, which is some sort of tribal guy who just walks towards you spinning a scythe. If you hit him, he'll stand still and extend the scythe at you, but since he's really tall, he's kind of hard to jump over him, so he'll do damage to you every time he walks towards you. Honestly, for this boss, I'd suggest that you kill him in just one hit. Alright, so we get to a cutscene which is just so boring. It's literally an old man just talking about ancient ruins for like 5 minutes. Honestly, the high-stretch action does not work well with this dragging, deep, droning. Wait, what? That guy got bored too. He just popped in and grabbed the statue and popped out. So the next level? Actually, I don't remember it because I beat it on my first try. But the next level, ooh, I remember it because I was here for over 45 minutes. Dying and dying and dying. That is so cheap! But I do find it funny when you lose all of your health but you land on a wall and he just dies gripped there. After about 30 30 minutes, I remembered that I'm playing this on the NES Mini and I can actually create save states mid-level. So that's what I started doing, but it still took me like another 15 minutes to actually get to the end of the stage, because you can't exactly take damage creating a save state with a damaged Ryu. Well, that's just messing up future me. But at last I got to the boss, and it's Undyne. That is Undyne, and she is a tough boss, because the weapon I used to kill bosses in just one hit wasn't on this stage. Granted, I have fought tougher Undynes before, but this one was no pushover. Her jump arcs make it so that you are really lucky if you can actually land a hit on her. And every few jumps, she lets loose these little balls that if you jump to avoid them, you just hit her. So this is really just a battle of who can hit the other person with unavoidable attacks quicker. And then there was a cutscene that lasted for eons, where the old guy died, the CIA abducted me, and told me to stop the guy who killed my father. So they dropped me off in the Amazon, and the first level is actually pretty easy. Except for this jump. Screw this jump! Screw it! But the next level I would actually consider a level. Kind of. Their reliance on knocking you off cliffs is gone, but instead they chip away at your HP. Which is nice, but with how many enemies there are and their placements, well, it's less nice. How on earth am I supposed to deal with 4 birds and a sky ninja all at once? But after that we got to another level that just boggles my mind. For the most part, this game has been somewhat fair. Yes, they overwhelm you. They have unfair placement, but for the most part, damage is avoidable. Hence why I can beat these stages. I just create save files with full health. But this level has a couple of parts where the damage is unavoidable. When this creep drops down, he will hit you. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And this snake statue, the amount of time it takes from Ryu to jump to a safe point to another point of safety, the statue will hit you with a fireball. The bosses, however, are actually really fun to fight. Just 2 dudes jumping and breathing fire. Take strikes on them when you can. I could probably beat these guys fair and square, but hey, when you have the option, I suggest that you kill them in just one hit. So I meet up with the king guy who started this whole shindig, and he told me to lay down the statue which will bring to pass the end of the world, or he'll kill the CIA lady.
Oh, her? Yeah, no, she shot me in level 1. You are free to do as you please.
But Ryu doesn't really have my thought process, so he lays the statue down and then, boop! Hey Ryu, are you okay? Cause that looks like it was further than 8 feet! So this next level is nonsense. I actually beat it in a fairly okay time, but there's not that much to say. Except for this enemy. Man, would you just look at that? That is excellent form. The next level was on a cliffside. Guess how they kill you on a cliffside? Yep, they summon a bunch of birds that throw you over cliffsides. No! Oh, I'll take that. Oh, son of a hag raven! So, this next part just exemplifies what this whole game is about. An infinitely spawning bat, an infinitely spawning running dude, and a dude shooting bazookas at the edge of a cliff that respawns when you kill him. What in the name of the merciful goddess Palutena was Miyamoto thinking? How was anyone ever supposed to get past this part? How did I get past it? Looking at the footage, I have no clue. I mean, I did, because I got to the boss. Tough guy. He's the one that my father fought. And look, I'll be honest. With Undyne, there was a 20% chance I could actually avoid her attack. And it only came every few jumps. But with this dude, he attacks every 3 seconds and it is unavoidable. There is no way. I tried. The only thing I can do is run up and slash his feet faster than he shoots out lightning, which I did. And as I was about to kill the Minotaur, he told me that he didn't kill my father. They just captured him, and I would see him soon if I went through some of the stupidest levels of all time. Okay, so in this series up to this point, easily the worst game I played was Ghosts and Goblins. They throw enemies at you that Arthur really doesn't have a way of attacking. To this game's credit, Ryu's attacks technically could be used to eliminate all of the enemies. A nice, fast, wide swing in the air and on the ground, but there's a limit to it. In Ghosts and Goblins, they knew how many enemies a human could take on at once. The enemies rarely respawned, and if they did, it's because you were waiting around for them. But this level is just nonsense. The only thing you can do is pray to a heathen god and hope that it has mercy on you. So many tricky enemies that do so much damage that just respawn all the time. I hated it! Then, the next level had, and no hyperbole here, the cheapest thing I have ever seen in a video game. Let me explain this little setup. This enemy is the only random enemy in the game. You do not know when he's going to walk forward or backward, or when he's going to lob attacks. Basically, getting to this guy's platform would be impossible. But that's not enough. Right at the edge of the platform, there will always be a bird that spawns, and it's unkillable. Well, you can kill him, but upon death, it instantly respawns another one. The only way I could get rid of this enemy was to cheat. Like standing on a certain part of the platform, I could get him to despawn, but the bird is practically unavoidable. And if he hits me, I get staggered far enough back that the dude respawns! The final stretch of these levels is just a bunch of enemies that do high damage. You just need to sprint through them, which brings you to the boss. Your father is being mind controlled by a crystal. This boss is the hardest boss I have ever fought, and I've fought Sans. You need to slash this crystal, and every second it spits out a fireball that flies around the room. Once there are about 3 of them, there are too many to deal with, and it is over. And if you lose to this boss, it's back to right after the Minotaur. I don't think this game is beatable. I have save states, and I fought him for over half an hour, and I couldn't beat him. How would someone beat this game if, after every single loss, they need to go through an hour of the cheapest gameplay I've ever seen just to get one attempt at this guy?
I can't do it! It's too hard! I mean, the people want to see Ryu defeat a demon, but I just can't do it! It's too hard! If only I had some other Ninja Gaiden game I could play. They want to see a demon, but I don't have any other Ninja Gaiden games. I don't even have that one for the Xbox! The Xbox! The Xbox!
So Omega is a pretty cheap final boss. He shoots lasers and fire breath at you that you're probably supposed to block, but usually I just try to run and get a slide kick at him. Another cheap thing about Omega is that even if I do get that slide kick, or any attack that knocks him to the ground, it causes an explosion that does damage to me and knocks me back. But after a few tries, I beat him. But yeah, this is the same Ryu Hayabusa, so I'm counting this as a win.
So, that's Dead or Alive 3. Honestly, Ninja Gaiden is the hardest game I have ever played. I don't believe that humans were designed to beat that game. But you know what a fun ninja game is? Shinobi, Revenge of Shinobi. I actually have a video of this. It's fun to watch. This game is as fun as it is challenging. I love it. But Ninja Gaiden? Oh man. Double Dragon 2? The Revenge! There's not nearly as much bullcrap in that game. Castlevania, compared to this, it's child's play. And while we're comparing games, let me compare it to Ghosts and Goblins. It made Ghosts and Goblins look fair. Oh, that hurt to say. Next week, we'll be looking at Pac-Man.
That was cool.